After I retired, the days started to feel gray. The silence in the house was louder than any alarm clock I'd ever had. My wife, bless her, was busy with her book club and her garden. The grandkids were in that whirlwind of school and sports, and my son was caught up in his career. I was proud of them all, truly, but I felt adrift. The sturdy ship of my career, which had sailed for 40 years with a clear destination every single morning, was suddenly docked, permanently. I'd spend my days shuffling from the kitchen to the living room, flipping through channels, or reading the paper twice. The highlight of my day was often the mailman's visit. I started to wonder with a genuine heavy ache in my chest, is this it? Is this the reward for all those years of hard work? This quiet, this grayness, this feeling of being utterly and completely out of the game? The spark, the one I didn't even know I had until it started to dim, was fading. I wasn't just bored. A sense of loneliness was setting in, and it was a heavy cloak to wear. I later learned that what I was feeling was common. After retiring, many people can feel disconnected or unsure of how to fill their days. The structure that had defined my life was gone, and I didn't know how to build a new one. But what if I told you that 5 simple daily habits didn't just add color back into my life? They painted a whole new masterpiece. What if I told you that the man who once felt invisible now feels more present and alive than he has in decades? It didn't happen overnight, and it didn't take a lottery win or a trip around the world. It took a decision to fight the gray. Stick with me and I'll share the journey from loneliness to joy. I'll walk you through the 5 simple, practical habits that turned everything around for me. And I promise, they can do the same for you. Because the best years aren't behind you, they can truly be right ahead. The first change started with my feet. It sounds simple, I know, but for months my feet had mostly known the soft compression of my slippers on the hallway carpet. My wife, Martha, finally said to me one morning, "Arthur, the sun is rising and you're missing it." She didn't say it with pity, but with a challenge. So the next morning, I did something different. I put on my old walking shoes. They felt stiff. I stepped outside, and the cool morning air was a shock to the system. I didn't set a goal to walk a marathon. My only goal was to walk to the end of our street and see the sunrise over Miller's Hill. I call this first habit the Sunrise Sentinel. It's not about exercise, not really, though that's a wonderful side effect. It turns out that regular physical activity is known to significantly reduce the risk of depression and feelings of anxiety in older adults. For me, it was about reclaiming the day. That first walk was slow. My knees creaked. But as I stood at the end of the block and watched the sky turn from deep purple to orange and pink, something inside me shifted. I wasn't just watching TV, I was witnessing something real and magnificent. I made a pact with myself to do it every single day. Some mornings it's a brisk walk, others it's more of a meander. I started noticing things I'd driven past for 30 years without a second glance. The old oak tree with the tire swing, the intricate pattern of a spiderweb glistening with dew, the way the seasons changed the leaves. This daily walk did more than just get my blood pumping. It created a routine. Humans crave routine. It gives our days a sense of structure and predictability, which is incredibly calming. It became the first non-negotiable anchor in my day. It told my brain, we are up, we are moving, we are starting. This wasn't just about physical health, it was about mental fortitude. The simple act of putting on my shoes and walking out the door was a victory over the inertia that had been holding me captive. The endorphins, those natural mood lifters that exercise releases, were an added bonus that helped combat the stress I was feeling. This habit didn't solve everything, but it was the first brushstroke of color on my gray canvas. It proved to me that I could still do something, and that was a powerful, powerful feeling. After my morning walk, I'd come home feeling a little more alive, but the long hours of the day still stretched out before me. My mind, which had spent a lifetime solving engineering problems, felt soft, unused. I was worried about it. The fear of cognitive decline is a real and valid concern for many of us. That's when Martha, in her infinite wisdom, brought home a crossword puzzle book. Not just any book, but one with the largest print I'd ever seen. She just left it on the kitchen table with a sharpened pencil. This became my second habit, the daily duel with the dictionary. Every morning, after my walk and with a fresh cup of coffee, I sit down and tackle one puzzle. At first, I was terrible. I could barely get a few words. The clues felt like a foreign language, but I was stubborn. I had my old heavy dictionary next to me, and I started looking things up. 7 letters for a state of great happiness. I thumbed through the pages. EUPHORIA. I wrote it in, a tiny spark of satisfaction. This daily puzzle is more than just a game. Engaging the mind is crucial for keeping the brain active, and studies have shown that seniors who regularly do puzzles like crosswords can improve their memory and attention. In fact, one study found that doing crosswords could delay the onset of dementia by more than 2 years. It's a workout for your brain, plain and simple. It forces you to think, to recall, to make connections. It demands concentration and problem solving, which keeps the mind sharp. My DUEL has since expanded. Some days it's a Sudoku puzzle, which flexes different mental muscles. Other days I'll play a game of chess against the computer. The key isn't what you do, but that you do it consistently. These activities stimulate the brain, reinforcing memory and problem-solving skills. They provide a sense of accomplishment that is profoundly important. Finishing a puzzle, even a simple one, is a small, tangible success. It's a win. And when you're trying to rebuild your sense of self, those daily wins are the bricks you use to build a new foundation. I went from feeling my mind was dulling to feeling it sharpen. I was learning new words, making my brain work in ways it hadn't for years, and it felt incredible. The first 2 habits were rebuilding my internal world, my sense of routine and mental sharpness. But the biggest void, the one that echoed the loudest in the quiet house, was the lack of connection. At work, I had 100 casual interactions a day. The chat by the coffee machine, the quick question in the hallway, the team lunch. Retirement had silenced all of that. I learned that this is a serious issue. Loneliness is a significant risk factor for depression and can increase the risk of dementia by 50%. I knew I needed to change this, but the idea of making friends felt as daunting as climbing a mountain. So I created a very small, very manageable third habit, the 3 hellos rule. The rule is simple. Every time I leave the house, whether for my walk or a trip to the grocery store, my mission is to say a genuine hello to at least 3 people. Not a mumble, not a nod, but a real eye contact. Hello, how are you today? The first few times felt awkward. I'd say hello to the cashier, the person walking their dog, the mailman. Sometimes I'd just get a surprised look. But more often than not, I'd get a hello back, a smile, a brief human connection. It was a start. Then, something amazing happened. Those hellos started turning into conversations. My daily walk took me past Mr. Henderson's house, and he was always tending his roses. My hello turned into, "Those roses are looking beautiful." That turned into a 10-minute conversation about fertilizer and pests. I learned his wife had passed a few years ago. He learned I was a retired engineer. Now we chat for a few minutes almost every morning. He saves the best rose cuttings for Martha. At the grocery store, my hello to the young man stocking the shelves turned into a conversation about his college classes. Now he tells me about his exams, and I tell him to study hard. These aren't deep, lifelong friendships, but they are connections. They are moments of being seen. Staying socially active and feeling a sense of belonging is crucial for our well-being and can improve mood and memory retention. I wasn't joining a big club, I was just opening the door, one hello at a time. It slowly but surely broke the bubble of isolation I had built around myself. It reminded me that I was still part of a community, a neighborhood, a world full of interesting people. It just required me to make the first move. Even with these new habits, I still had moments of melancholy. It's easy to focus on what's lost, your career, your old routine, your sense of importance. The grayness can creep back in if you let it. I read somewhere that our brains are naturally wired to notice threats and problems more than positive things. It's an old survival mechanism, but in modern life, especially in retirement, that tendency can lead you down a rabbit hole of negativity. I realized I needed to actively retrain my brain to see the good. This led to my 4th habit, which is perhaps the simplest and most profound. I call it the 3 Good Things Journal. Every single night before I go to sleep, I take a small, simple notebook, nothing fancy, and I write down 3 good things that happened that day. And I have to be specific. I can't just write a nice day. I have to write why it was nice. The first night, it felt silly. I wrote 1. The coffee tasted especially good this morning. 2. I figured out the answer to 17 down in the crossword without the dictionary. 3. Martha laughed at a joke I told. They were small, almost trivial things. But the act of searching for them, of acknowledging them, was powerful. The next day, I found myself subconsciously looking for things to write down. I started paying more attention. I noticed the warmth of the sun on my face during my walk. I savored the taste of the apple I had for a snack. I truly listened to the song on the radio. This habit is a form of practicing gratitude, and it's remarkably effective. Focusing on the positive things in life can uplift spirits, reduce anxiety, and enhance overall mental well-being. This simple practice shifted my entire perspective. Instead of ending the day with a mental tally of my aches and pains or my frustrations, I was ending it with a review of small joys. Some days the list is more significant. Had a wonderful chat with my granddaughter on the phone, or finished the birdhouse I was building, but often it's the small things. A driver let me merge into traffic, found a perfectly ripe avocado. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. What matters is the daily ritual of seeking out and acknowledging the good. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. My default setting began to shift from seeing the gray to spotting the flecks of gold in every single day. The final piece of the puzzle was purpose. The walks gave me structure, the puzzles gave me sharpness, the hellos gave me connection, and the journal gave me perspective. But I still miss the feeling of making something, of having a project, of using my skills. For 40 years, I solved problems. It was my identity. A core challenge in retirement is often the loss of identity that was tied to a career. I needed a new project. That's when I came up with my fifth and final habit, the old skill new project plan. The idea is to take a skill you already have, something from your past, and apply it to a new, low-stakes, enjoyable project. For me, it was my basic woodworking and engineering knowledge. I had a garage full of old tools that were gathering dust. My new project became building elaborate, custom-designed birdhouses. I started simple, with a basic boxy design. But then my old engineering brain kicked in. I started sketching more complex designs, a little Victorian one with scalloped edges, a rustic log cabin model. I had to measure, cut, assemble. I had to solve small structural problems. It was engaging and creative. Rediscovering old passions or pursuing new hobbies is a perfect way to fill your time and keep your spirits high. Creative activities are great for stimulating the mind, forming new pathways in the brain, and providing a deep sense of accomplishment. Research shows that creative engagement can improve memory, reduce stress, and enhance emotional resilience. My little hobby has grown. I've built birdhouses for all the neighbors. I taught my grandson how to use a screwdriver and a tape measure last summer while we built one together. The point of this habit isn't to start a business. It's about reconnecting with a part of yourself you thought you left behind. Maybe for you, it's an old love of cooking and your project is to master a new type of cuisine. Maybe you were great at organizing and your project is to digitize all the old family photos. Maybe you love to write and you start a simple blog or just journal your life story for your grandkids. This habit gives you a reason to get up and get going that is entirely your own. It provides a sense of purpose, which is so important for seniors. It's a tangible reminder that your skills, your knowledge, and your experience are still valuable. You can still build, create, and contribute. You just get to do it on your own terms now. So that's my story. From gray, silent days to a life filled with color and purpose. It wasn't one big, dramatic change. It was the steady, daily practice of these 5 small habits. The sunrise sentinel to anchor my day. The daily duel with the dictionary to keep my mind sharp. The 3 hellos rule to break through the isolation. The 3 good things journal to change my focus. And the old skill new project plan to give me a sense of purpose. None of these are earth-shattering. They are small, manageable, and free. But together, they create a powerful framework for a happy and healthy retirement. They prove to me that mental health isn't a passive state. It's an active practice. It's something we can cultivate and strengthen, no matter our age. The challenges of aging are real, but they are not the whole story. We are not defined by what we've lost, but by what we choose to build with the time we have. Your journey will look different from mine, and that's the beauty of it. You get to write your own next chapter. You have the power to paint your own masterpiece. And now, I want to hear from you. This is a conversation, not a lecture. Please share one small habit in the comments below that brings you joy or helps you stay sharp. It could be anything. Listening to a certain kind of music, tending to a houseplant, calling a friend. Your idea might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear today. Let's learn from each other. Thank you for listening.